Hello and welcome to the skating lesson, Judges Gymnastics. My name is Dave Leese, and I'm thrilled to welcome today Justin Powers to discuss the 2019 U.S. Gymnastics Championships. Now, I actually met Justin on a message board over 10 years ago, and at that time you were a fan, and what's kind of impressed me is that you always posted videos of yourself learning gymnastics, I think, as a late teenager, and then you competed at your college, and now you actually coach. So,
Come on, Justin! Come on, man!
He's got the
Do it,
power.
Justin! Do it! Come on, Justin! Get it, man!
Come on, Justin!
Hey! Come on, Justin! Let's see it, Justin! Come on, you got it, man! Come on, you got it, man! Nice! All right, Justin! All right, Justin!
Come on, Justin! Come on, Justin!
Hit it!
Dude, that was awesome.
Oh my God! Go, Justin!
So, I guess, how did you start gymnastics and get into it?
I did club gymnastics when I was a kid, up until I was like 12, but then I quit and I was getting fat and, the fun stuff. And I just taught myself stuff on the trampoline and did all that and started working at my gym again when I was 16 and went from there.
Okay, yeah. So there are videos of you, and you've actually done uneven bar routines and floor routines with music, and you've actually worked camps with Boginskaya, which I'm sure a lot of people, if they are watching this, are probably jealous of that fact.
I love her. She's so fun.
And you actually coach a girls' team now, so I thought it would be interesting to have you on to kind of overview of everything with gymnastics. So I want to ask your technical knowledge about Simone. Everyone's talking about the triple-double. I went to work. People are talking about the triple-double in health insurance in corporate America. So first of all, how does she do it? How good is it? Break down what impresses you about it.
It's so insanely good. There's only been like 10 guys who have ever done that past two. And she's one of the best that have done it. Just the round off back handspring going into the triple double is so insanely perfect. Like when you're coaching a round-off back handspring, you have to make sure you tell the kids to make sure it's really long and that they can't squat and that their arms have to be in and everything. And even with some gymnasts these days, you see their arms are too wide or their arms are bent and everything's not stretched out. But Simone is perfect there.
Okay, so let's slow this down. Because
Okay.
I think people are going to... This is an important factor here. Because we always hear that someone has a good round-off or a good round-off back handspring. What is she actually doing? Like, show the arm position, like what you want, what you're going for, and like why this is so good. They need to study this in a science lab so that we can have more people doing so.
Exactly.
Okay.
When she's going into the round off, her arms are by her ears, exactly where they should be.
Mm-hmm.
She comes out of the round off, her legs don't really bend at all. She punches real fast. A lot of times you'll see the gymnast kind of squat and bend on the round off, but she has her legs completely straight. Her arms never drop from like her ears. So when she lands the round off, she goes straight into the back handspring. Like,
so when you're
perfect.
punching, what you mean is you're pushing off the floor between skills, you don't want your tushy to bend, right? Like no knee or bend. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want any knee bend, and you'll see that sometimes that they'll have a small knee bend real fast or that they'll drop the arms and then swing again, and that just wastes time. And you don't want to waste any time because the faster you can get through the round up back handspring, the better it is most of the time. So Simone can just punch real fast, get her arms back, and then her back handspring is so insanely long. And the longer the back handspring is for the most part, the more power up you get. So yeah, go ahead.
How much of this is her coach? How much of this is natural? Because I think everyone loves Simone's coach. She seems like such a her former coach, Amy Borman, seems like rational, level-headed. But we haven't seen her have a lot of other top athletes. So I'm wondering, is this something that a lot of her gymnasts have? Because I know that you do coach in Texas that you see. Or is this somewhat... Simone also has like an interesting body. She's kind of short and muscular and seems like very blessed for gymnastics.
Yes, definitely. She has the perfect gymnastics body. Like... If you want somebody to be a gymnast, you want them to look exactly like Simone. One of the coaches who used to work at my gym actually came from Amy's gym. So I knew a little bit about Amy before Simone. And her technique was really good too. But I think it's just a good mix of Amy always taught really good technique mixed with somebody like Simone who just has the natural blessed ability.
Okay. So yeah, I read that Simone is 4'8". I said on her.
Oh gosh.
Yes, that's his, and she is just built incredibly well. So yes, so Kathy Johnson was loving her round off back handspring as much as she was loving the triple double on Twitter when she was watching me, and that made me very happy. I thought a lot of people that like compulsories would appreciate that.
Yes.
How about so the triple double? Her air position is amazing. I think the best that we've ever probably seen a female do on a full in. Just what stood out to you about the overall skill? Like, there's a lot going on when she
There is.
Yeah.
Something that's great about Simone is she is so strong with her core that she can really do a tuck position open without being like she can really pull her knees in. Okay. And that's something you see a lot of gymnasts when they do like double doubles, their knees aren't as close to their like body on their tuck because they can't use their arms to grab. And Simone has such good strength that she's able to pull her knees up so high, and that lets her twist and flip so much more proficiently.
So it's actually helping her with the twist.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, it lets her. That's why she can do all of her crazy flipping stuff so easily.
Okay. Now, do you expect Simone to keep doing the triple-double as to get to the Worlds?
I think she'll do it at Worlds because I think she wants it named after her. After that...
That was a dumb question, Dave. Of course she's going to get it named after her. Yes, it's okay.
Yeah, of course. No, but after that, I don't know. She has so many options on floor that by the Olympics next year... Who knows if she's still going to do it.
Yeah, I felt like some of the people there was so much to focus on in the interviews with Simone, and I wanted to, someone needed to break down and be like, so that vault you did at the World Championships, when are we going to see that? What is the status of your triple? There are also rumors that she's been training the triple-double in layout. I mean, there's just, a lot of craziness going on with Simone and what we could see at the Olympics. So
yes, it'd be exciting to see, and then she's supposed to debut a new bar skill, I heard. Because she wants to do the skill on each event.
So that wasn't just Tim Daggett just talking and being a nerd. This is a real thing that she has her own bar skill.
Yes, I heard through the grapevine it's supposed to be something crazy, but it's probably going to end up being like a Weiler full, just something like kind of normal. But I have heard through the grapevine. I don't know anything about what it is, but I heard it was supposed to be like a crazy, crazy skill.
Why wouldn't it be something, I could see her doing something like a Kovacs. There were rumors in like the late 90s that Vanessa Adler's coach had her try that. There was people that were doing all the different Gaylord skills, over the bar. I could picture Simone doing something like that, perhaps.
That'd be crazy. I mean, I would love for her to do that. That'd be so crazy to see.
I just feel like she's such a flipping athlete. Anyone doing the Weiler skills, I think that they tend to be kind of ugly and break up the natural flow of bars. So to me, it was always what the non-bar swingers would do, like a Weber or Sean Johnson or someone who's really strong but not a swinger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now break down her double-double off of beam. Like, what to you stood out to you about this?
Just the full in itself is so hard. And the fact that she can add a double twist is, I don't know. I never thought I would see someone do that like this soon. Well, I don't know this soon, but... I
thought ever. I thought if we saw someone go for a double-double, it would be like those falls that you see where someone lands like with their face in the mat, like we would see in the 90s, or people trying really hard skill for the first time. Yeah.
And nobody does full ins anymore. Like, I was thinking about people from other countries that do full ins off a beam, and I think Melnikova did one, and that's all I can think of. So the fact that she's already upgrading from that is just insane.
Yeah. So her double-double, gives her more points than her actual triple-double does on floor. The skill is a higher level on beam. So going into the Worlds, that has to give her a major advantage for being competitive for a balance beam medal. If she cannot fall and then do that move, that has to give her quite an advantage going forward as far, in event finals. So I am thinking that it's going to be another good year for Simone.
Definitely. I think she really needed something on beam after she took out the Branny and after she took out like the front pike. I think she needed one big skill to really showcase her beam, and I think the double-double dismount's just perfect for her. I noticed that I felt less nervous watching her on beam. The turning leaps can make me a little bit nervous, but Simone, when she gets nervous, can tend to go to one side and wobble a little bit on beam, but she really looked steadier here overall. But what I noticed is that now that she's so great doing the focus on beam and on floor, that it's almost like vault has become an afterthought for Simone, which is one of the events where she first stood out with her Amanar and everything like that. What do you think, realistically, people have talked about the triple with Simone since maybe 2013. Do you think this is a real thing that she is focused on? I mean, her Amanar looked so easy for her. It was ridiculous. Yeah. So easy. Well, and the fact that no one could do an Amanar like her right now. She doesn't really need a triple. I think she's probably playing around with it. And I don't know. I would be afraid I don't want her to get injured right before the Olympics, but I still would love to see it from her. She's going to have to do something, and I'm wondering if they feel that technique is more stable for her because she has spent so much time doing, Yurchenko vaults, if she's more comfortable with that technique, or because I imagine that Simone will want to win vault at the Olympics. So when she's racking up gold medals in this comeback, I think that would also give her a big advantage in the all-around competition as well, or to do her vault. But because she had the kidney stone and fell on the vault at Worlds, I don't know, it's like, are we not going to see this vault anymore because is it cursed, right? But yeah, I'm afraid of that too. I think she has a little bit of PTSD from Worlds with that vault, but I don't know. I like her vault, I think, more than a triple Yurchenko. So I would like to see the Biles vault come back for her. I would like to see both. Okay, that'd be good. Me doing none of this, I would like to watch that. So that'd be crazy. Yeah. Simone, can you please let us watch you work out? Maybe just put it on YouTube. We can have a paid subscription service once a week. We can check in with you. I think that would be really great. That'd be fabulous. Yes. Let's get a hold of her. Yeah. Okay, so I have to say, as much as I love Simone, which is a lot, okay, and I know that she's not the typical balletic gymnast or whatever, but when you see greatness, there it is. Yes. However,
her wolf turns scare the bejesus out of me. If there is anything that I think she might mess up on at the Olympics or the Worlds, I think she may sit it down at one point. Like, it looks... Yeah.
Well, especially that floor routine, the one that she did on day 2 with the triple-double, her wolf turn was crazy out of control.
Yes.
And, yeah, I'm with you on wishing that was to go away.
What's weird is that when Taryn Humphrey used to do it, you never knew if she was going to do 2.5, if she was going to do 3, if she was going to do 2. And, like, now that these are planned, like, there's sort of, like, a set wolf turn technique, which seems, like, very strange. Which obviously is, like, reminiscent of a sit-spin position in skating, except, like, the leg is out to the side. How early did the girls actually start working on this position? Because it's very unnatural. To me, I'm thinking it's all lower abs and arms, right? Like what?
And it's very thigh, too. Okay. I have a few of my girls on my team starting to train it. They're about level 6. Okay. And the hardest part that I've seen teaching it is building up the leg strength. Because you still have to push down on the ground. You can't sit all the way in that position naturally. I'm sure like a figure skater can kind of go into that position more naturally.
So when you do a figure skate, when you go into the position, you like bring your leg around and like you bring your leg around and turn your foot out and it kind of like as you're generating. But what they're doing is, so how are they making the momentum? Are you pushing through your toe to get the spin? Because they're not supposed to... I was listening to an interview with Chelsea Melville. You're not supposed to swing your arms at all, and you're not supposed to spot. So can you break this down for us?
Yeah, you're supposed to push down on the base leg that you're standing on, and you still swing that leg over a little bit. Now, you will see some gymnasts spot each end of the beam. I think Grace McCallum does this pretty well, where she starts the wolf turn, and then she'll spot each half of the beam. Okay. Which is kind of weird because most people spot a full, but I've seen...
You spot a full, like when you're in dance, you're supposed to like spot in the front, spot the mirror, spot the... Yeah.
Yes, and I see them kind of go half, 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 like that, which is a little strange, but I guess it helps. I don't know. I don't like it, but it's a smart coaching decision. It's such a smart thing to
So are you allowed to spot the beam? You're allowed to spot the end because there's talk that you're not supposed to be spotting. They were talking.
Yeah. Okay. I think you can. I know some stuff like the jump halves that you see everyone do. I know those you can't spot the beam anymore. And so I think you have to start facing forward. You can't start like this. But once you get going, I think you can start spotting.
I'm just confused about why we're spotting the beam and not like an inanimate object in front of us. Because I'm thinking, and this might be a gymnastics thing with what you're looking at in visual reference, but if you're turning this way, why are you spotting 3/4 of your turn? Like usually you spot when you get it around. It helps with the stability and staying on the beam. When you do like in JO, the jump 3/4, like a split 3/4 or a side like straddle half, those are all been popular more than they have been in elite. And it's always good to teach them to spot that like last quarter to make sure their legs end up on the beam properly. So I'd assume it's the same for the wolf turn. Okay. Now, what are the deductions for wolf turn when it looks like the girls are surfing here? Like, are we allowed to be, because they bother me, and they're not worth, I mean, so you were telling me before we started that the triple is an E, the double is a D.
Yes, on beam, yeah.
Okay. So when we see all of Maggie's girls start the routine and get the E and the D out of the way, I'm wondering if the deductions are going to start outweighing, because I think the FIG should, because we see way too many wolf turns and we see way too many bad wolf turns. So
exactly. Well, it's a smart coaching decision right now because you can get maybe like if they're all wobbly, you might get a 10th for balance. And the FIG put out a video and it has girls like sitting them down and like falling onto the beam, and that's only 3/10. Which is the crazy part. Yeah, it's a 3/10 lack of balance, and that's it, not a fall. I'm hoping next code they change that to like a full point fall like the other turns would be.
Yeah, the FIG is usually good about when something is getting out of control, that they start to devalue it over time.
Yes.
So I hope certainly that this is, I don't like seeing it. It's very awkward, and most of them don't do it particularly well. So
I agree.
yeah. Does anyone have a wolf spin, a wolf turn that you like? So
Not really.
I at least like that Maggie's girls always point their toes, right? Maggie is very detail
They
oriented.
do.
Yeah.
It's just not a pretty, it's never a pretty position. I would love to see a gymnast pull the leg in front
Yes.
and have almost like the figure skating position and show that position. If somebody can do that, I'll be a fan.
Yeah. Okay. Now, Simone did not like her bar routine on day one. She was overheard saying it was a POS, which
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was maybe janky, like when you have that kind of like just bad day. You know, you're driving and like, you cut that corner a little rough. And this one's
I get that.
It was like a little bit of a wild ride, but it was okay. It
wasn't too bad. But you know, for Simone, she expects everything to be perfect. And I thought it was so hilarious because she's a woman. Like, she's in her 20s. Like, let her cuss. Just let her live her life. I don't know. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. And, you know, USA Gymnastics is not in a position where they could try to censor her. In the past, they would try to have censored that down or gotten, but she has all of the power and everyone knows it. So
yeah, and I mean, who hasn't? I don't know. I've heard my like teenagers whisper a cuss word underneath their breath when they've done something bad, and we have to be like, "Hey, you can't say that." But she's in her 20s, so I don't know. Let her cuss as much as she wants.
Yeah. So Simone, I think she is on track. It's interesting to me though that she. Now, you know, to keep her body, she only competes a few times a year. So she's like just getting in shape, you know, right now. I also, do you notice that Simone always speaks in the first person plural? And I don't know if it's a polite thing or what it is, but it always bugs me. It doesn't bug, but it makes me laugh. And she always says we. And I'm like, are you talking about you and the national team, you and your coaches? You don't have peers, Simone. Like, you're not. Yeah. You're the one doing the triple-double, Laurent and Cecile aren't. So when she's saying, we're going to go in the gym and clean everything up.
Yeah. I guess she's just trying to be polite and include her coaches, but I think it's funny too.
Or is she talking about the other girls on the national team, that they're all doing it together? I started to notice it in the last quad. She would always say we, but I
guess. I don't know. Maybe that's
Grace McCallum isn't going into the gym the next day to try to fix her triple-double. Like, that is not a thing.
Exactly.
So,
I always thought it was her coaches, but I do know USA Gymnastics used to do, like, press training and would teach them how to, like, talk at interviews. So I wonder if that's just, like, a carryover from that.
Okay. All right. I just laugh, and every time it makes me laugh because, well, let's be real. But I like that she is as sassy as she can be with Andrea. She does not care. She is a lot of fun, and I think it makes it more interesting and entertaining to watch. I was as riveted when she was doing well as when she was disappointed. Like, she was giving us Serena Williams kind of level of entertainment. Like, I was gripped. Like, so.
And it's so nice to have her come out and not be like, I want to hit all 4 events and have fun and see my friend. It's so nice to have somebody who's like an actual real competitor.
It really is engaging, and it's interesting. It's watching. Like, my boyfriend was sitting watching, usually, not looking at his phone ever when she was competing. So he wanted to know what was going on with Simone, what's going on with the girl with the glasses. Like, the camp factor is really Maggie Haney looking like she is from the Jersey Shore, but glammed up. Like, this is a good level of camp for gymnastics. So
it is. It's good. It's interesting. It's a good mix of characters.
I think Morgan Hurd is sweet, but I want to talk about Riley because I wanted Riley to be in the all-around series because I want to watch Maggie. I like how Maggie always says, like, I taught Lori everything she knows. Even in the flow gymnastics piece from back in the day. And, like, skating coaches talk this way, too, because I had a Russian coach, and they'll say, like, I made her. And you're like, well, yeah, you did. Like, I get it. Like, you did have a lot to do with that, and you're not getting credit. Maggie is a very confident woman, okay?
I love it.
With a past, which we love. We love she had some crazy college party back in the day. But I love watching it. I love her attention to detail. I love that she seems a little terrifying. I love that she's always really in, like, really tight leggings, showing off her hot body on TV.
I was about to say, I love her outfits. And she's always dressed that way because International Gymnastics posted Lori Hernandez's like compulsory routine when she was like 8 or 9, and you can see Maggie in the background with the baggy jacket and the tight pants and her hair all done like she still does today, and I love it.
I just want to watch Maggie and Vicky. There are videos of them doing gymnastics. You know, they've gotten really into social media, but Maggie, if you ever see this, and I'm afraid of you and like you, why do we never see videos of your beam routine or your floor routine? We know that you got a 10 when you were at NC State, but this was before gymnastics was on TV all the time. I want to see how she danced. I want to see how...
Oh, yeah.
Was her body line that good on bars? Like, what? I want to watch Maggie for days, okay?
I do, too. I want to see it. So if she's watching this, I want to know. I want to see everything.
I hope her mother has a VHS tape collection and that we can just, like, the camcorder, I want to watch Maggie. I like that Vicky looks just like her. Do you get that MG Elite looks like a little bit of a sorority? Like, they all kind of... It's a very small group. We kind of dress a certain way. We're very perfect. We're very tan. Yes. They're girly girls at this gym.
Yeah, and a lot of gyms, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of gyms will pick out girls based on, like, what they look like. And so
like, who to put in the elite group, you're saying?
Well, yeah. So when they're, like, doing compulsories and everything, and they're deciding, okay, which girls are going to be, like, moved on to the elite path or, like, the level 10 path, or which girls are just going to keep doing, like, lower level optionals, a lot of gyms will choose girls based on what they look like and what their body type is. And it's kind of smart. Like, you want to make sure the gymnasts aren't going to be 10 feet tall or anything like that. So they kind of start choosing, but that can end up with what you're saying, and everyone from MG Elite is kind of similar.
They're all they all have their ribs in, and they look beautiful in a handstand on bars. They're all, like, blonde and, like, gorgeous hair. I would like an Indian girl with, like, hair for days. Or, like, you know, I think that would be great. I do notice... But if you even go back to when Maggie would talk about Jazzy, this is the greatest. She'd be like, when Jazzy came here, she couldn't do anything. She couldn't do anything. And you're like, Jazzy is not a normal girl that she would pick. She doesn't have the extension through her toe. She doesn't look like she could, like, be a cheerleader if gymnastics doesn't work out for her, and be a flyer, because, like, the flyer is, Okay, so my daughter Riley is having some problems here. She had the best leotards in the competition. I like that MG Elite has been modeling leotards all over their Instagram. They're definitely, they were all wearing different ones. I liked it, and they were the prettiest. But, okay, so they clearly wanted Riley to get a lot of competition exposure under pressure to get more experience.
Yes, and that might not have been the smartest.
Do you think it's just like the old song, Mo Money, Mo Problems, more Riley, more inconsistency? Like, it seems like they didn't strategize well, and I don't know if this is Maggie's fault or Tom's fault, but I feel like Marta would try to at least be like, you're doing 2 events here and you better hit them or your life isn't meant, but so Riley I would think is an all-arounder but with a specialty on bars and beam, right? Like, I
agree.
Yeah. At this point, she now has missed, okay, so she hit bars at classics, although she didn't hit her connection on bars, like the 3 skills she connects. She hit it night 1 of Pan Am's. It was great. Messed up in the all-around.
I think she hit it in finals, yeah.
She messed up bars day 1 here, and then day 2 she almost died on the dismount and then was dry heaving afterwards and didn't walk down the stairs, and that was really upsetting to the camera guy. So
I know, they ran away, they sprinted.
Yeah. So what are you trusting Riley at this point for bars at Worlds? Like, did she really hurt herself here?
I think I would still trust her. I don't know how much I would trust her as, like, an all-arounder. I think she gets too stressed out when she's doing all 4 events. My thing with her is she looks so good at the beginning of every season, because this was similar last year. Last year, she looked so good, like, at the beginning, and then it kind of started to go downhill. And I think they just kind of prep her too much for the beginning of the season, and there's nowhere to build up. And so she just is already at the top, and there's nowhere to go but either holding the top, which is hard, or going down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen, because where she's building, I love her, right? Like, I think she's really
Mhm.
beautiful. I don't think that she's one of the most talented gymnasts. I think her potential to upgrade on bars over the next year. She seems to have trouble flipping backwards. She's got that dismount, and they could say that she's blunt, but when she does the blind turn at the end of her bar routine, it always looks like she's almost going to fall out of the handstand. So when it finally happened, it seemed like it was destiny that this is coming. She
Yeah, it
can't
wasn't surprising.
what kind of upgrades do you see coming from her over the next year?
On bars, honestly, I hope there's no upgrades. I hope she can just fix her routine and hit it every single time. Because that one she did at Pan Am's that was hit, like in prelims, was gorgeous. I just want to see that from her every single time.
But is it enough? Because basically what I'm thinking is, I think she's going to have a hard time making a 4-person team. Based on the fact of how good Sunisa Lee is, how good some of the other girls are, and what they could upgrade in the next year. If you look at a year from now, I'm not knowing what she could realistically add to that bar routine that wouldn't cause her to have all sorts of problems. And I'm wondering, is it going to be enough? Because her beam routine is nice, but she doesn't always hit it, and it doesn't seem special enough to get her on the 4-person team or the one individual spot. So if Jade Carey takes one individual spot, she could get the other individual spot, but it's kind of dicey.
Yeah, I kind of feel you, and I don't know where else she could go. She could upgrade her Stalder Tkachev to a pike, and that's really it that I can think of.
I can't see her doing a pack full. I can't see it.
No.
Yeah.
No. And the way her routine is structured, I don't see her doing more transition work, because she has the transition in the beginning and then the transition at the end, but I don't see her connecting it like Mustafina would do.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, is they clearly gave her that dismount because she had issues flipping backwards and they needed something and it was high valued enough, but it doesn't seem like the kind of dismount that she could upgrade. So it seems like now they've backed themselves into a corner where they have problems. So I don't know.
It's weird, yeah.
I have a feeling Riley is going to be a beautiful gymnast in college, but I just feel like her Olympics. It's funny, going into nationals, I thought she had a decent shot. If you just ended night 1 of Pan Am, she had a great shot at Worlds. Maybe the Olympics. Bar queen. After all around, you're like, After event finals, sitting down that
exactly.
Now. Like, she's kind of, her percentages on every event now are dinged. And she was supposed to do the double A on the floor. We haven't seen it yet. I imagine we'll see that for the selection camp, but I don't think it really matters. Like, she's not
because I don't think she would ever do floor
in a team final.
No.
It doesn't matter. Even if she does, we're relying on Simone's score and maybe Jade's score or whoever else. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope good things. I hope she can hit at World Selection. I hope she can take like a little bit of rest. I want to see her. She's on my Worlds team right now, who I want to go to Worlds.
Okay.
But she's not doing all around on my Worlds team. She would be doing just bars and beams. So hopefully she could concentrate in.
I did think that her vault was like the best of her life. The one that she stepped backwards from. It looked like her arms were the straightest on the horse to get the nicest block off of. But
yeah, because she's had problems with that.
So let's talk about the Maggie girls on vault. We haven't seen like a really big power girl from Maggie's gym, from MG Elite on vault. Is her vault technique good? Is the MG Elite vault technique where it needs to be? It always looks like we're struggling to get the doubles happening.
I think there's some small things that could be fixed. Shoulder angle, arms in, all of that on the table could be fixed a little bit. But I've noticed a lot of Team USA kind of has those problems, because Morgan Hurd has those problems. Sunisa Lee has those problems. And so it seems to be almost a more widespread U.S. issue. Like, they're pushing so hard to get the double full that they're skipping over some of the technique needed in the beginning.
Yeah. I'm really curious with Tom leading, and obviously USA has so many problems, but in the development and the coaches that they let go. They let Chow go to another country. He's in China. They have, Mihai in Australia. They have Valeri in Brazil. And not saying that everyone has their own problems, but they also did let a lot of knowledge go out with that. So now you have different coaches that may not be as big experts. So I'm curious with the vault technique, because the vault has gone down. they used to call it the United States of Aminar. The Aminars are not as good, other than Simone's, than we're used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mihai, I think, was a big help on vault because all of his gymnasts were good at vault. I mean, Allie Raisman wasn't even the most talented gymnast. She had some overall issues, but she was still able to pull an Aminar off with kind of decent technique too. So if he can get Allie to do it, he would have been a big help for Team USA, and that's a big hit for them.
It is a hit for them. I also wonder with, it just doesn't seem like the girls are like in development, although the next crop of juniors looks a little bit more talented. So with like Connor McLean and things and gymnasts like that. But Sunisa Lee definitely looks like she is someone who has had kind of an interesting year. She was great in DiCello, then she, I think, was injured. Then she came back, and we saw her do a couple events. She was trying out a bar routine at the American Classic, and it was a miss. Then she restructured it, the U.S. Classic. It was great. She didn't try Pan Am's, and she had a fantastic meet here. So what is she on your world team? Is she, where is she tracking for you?
100% on my world's team. I think she kind of could be Riley's replacement for the Olympics because they're both all-arounders that are strong on beam and bars. But in terms of now, I think her coaches did a great job pacing her. I think it was a good idea to let her do some routines at the U.S. Classic. She didn't even do a beam dismount. She just did a layout. And I know she had a leg injury, but I think it was smart to let her go out there and compete and get some competition experience without hurting herself. And she looks like she's great right now.
Okay, so I have a question for you because I have a lot of questions, but we had a lot of, every time she vaulted, it looked scary. And they would say that it was because of her knee injury that she was favoring one leg or the other. And I would buy that. However, her tumbling was so gorgeous on floor, and she didn't seem to have any problems. Like, she did a gorgeous double-double. She did a gorgeous double layout. Her combination twisting pass was great. The presentation was great on floor. Is there something off in her vault technique, or do you think it's just the impact of hitting vault?
I'm sure it's a little bit off on the vault technique. And then the landings are hard. I'm sure she's not doing a lot of hard landings at her gym right now because of her leg. She's probably tumbling on a rod floor at her gym, and she can get a little bit more tumbling practice than she would like hard landings on vault. So I'm sure that's just where the difference is.
Is she vaulting for you at the Worlds right now? I'm not letting her vault right now at Worlds. I'm making that decision later, but she's going to Worlds for me. So
I would have her do all around and do vault in prelims, but not finals.
Okay. I can live with that. I have to ask you, because we're talking about world teams, and she's not ranked high here, but Cara Eaker. So it's Eaker, not Eaker. I thought it was Eaker my whole life for 3 years.
Me too.
We've known her. But
yeah.
So Cara, is she going to Worlds for you? Obviously, she has this gorgeous beam routine. She can win gold on it. She has a 1.5 vault, and it's tucked. And I love her as a gymnast and recruit her for my college team. But in terms of elite, I think, okay, this vault is no bueno. Like, Nastia did a much better 1.5, and that was considered, like, laughable in 2008. She's not great bars. I don't think Alfong is the world's... I think his wife is really the strength in that gym. Is she going to you on your world team for beam and floor?
Right now, she's not. I don't have her on my world's team. I have that last spot, though, between her and Riley. So I think it's going to be at the selection camp, whoever's hitting beam and bars the best between the two of them.
Okay.
I think. Because I wouldn't even really have Cara do floor. I don't think she's good at floor, but I don't think there's really a need.
I'm just so in my Marta Caroli mindset, like, we're not taking anyone unless you're winning gold in the event, which Cara could, but she did she has made errors on beam. And even though she does have such a high D score and her overall execution is good enough that she scores high, although one judge that I'm close with he is just bugged about her ring leap position and the fact that she never hits it on beam. I asked Chelsea Memel about it, and she said, well, Cara does hit it on floor, but she doesn't hit it on beam. So I'm wondering when the judges are going to, like, nail her, because we saw 1 year at Worlds they nailed Ivana Hong in prelims, and then they nailed the U.S. men for their high bar at the Olympics last minute, and I don't want to see that happen to Cara, but it is my concern that that could happen at a World Championships where we start to get into deductions or shapes and everything. Yeah.
I have the same concern because especially the way her routine is constructed, if some of her leaps start getting devalued, she'll lose like her leap series at the end. Like if her switch ring becomes a switch leap, she does a switch leap at the end of her routine for her leap series like requirement, and that would just ruin the start value. But at Worlds last year, they didn't seem to care about her ring positions. They still gave her a high score. So
wasn't Worlds a little bit of a mess last year? I mean, okay, the overall standing, even though it's so impressive of how good the U.S. has been, the rest of the world has also gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Although it seems like it's improving. Over the last year, I would say. But Worlds it seemed like a little bit of a mess. Like the gym looked like suspicious last year at Worlds. Like this situation, I feel like sometimes gymnastics, like I was hearing like Riley's our number 2 girl, but she was only our number 2 girl in one meet. Like we have to, we have to look at a lot of information before we make these statements. So
definitely. Worlds, I don't know. Worlds was a little bit of a mess. I'm excited this year will be in Stuttgart, so we'll have a country that's experienced in hosting Worlds.
You said that so diplomatically. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You did your good training. Yes. Yeah. So Cara, to me, is the question mark to take her or not. There's a good argument for taking from her. I think she definitely has to hit beam at the selection camp every single time.
Definitely.
Let's bring down some of the other girls here. So Morgan Hurd came in, one of the huge favorites, had a really rough classic Pan Am situation going on, but it seems like she is starting to get mad and do better gymnastics. She had a great night 1, and then she balked on her floor tumbling. What did you see happen on the second pass? So in skating, it's called a pop, when your body is off and you just don't go for it, and that angers coaches more than if you fall. But in gymnastics, we rarely see a balk. So what happened?
I think she did kind of what a figure skating thing was. And I think she landed her front layout, was a little bit off. Sometimes it just mentally shuts off. And I've had that happen to me where like I go for a tumbling pass, and then your body's like, no, not happening. And you just do a half or you do a full instead of like the double full like she was trying to do. And then she added that pass on the third pass, which was not smart. And her coach told her afterwards, like, hey, you can't change your routine mid-routine.
Yeah.
And so that just ended up a disaster on day 1. But I was so happy on day 2. It was much better.
Yeah, I think on floor, the reason, I know people were talking about having backups and stuff, but I think to do something like a double layout as a third pass, if you're not training that Allie Raisman kind of stamina, which Morgan Hurd doesn't seem to have that kind of years of knee-high breasty and legs training behind her.
Yeah.
She could have hurt herself. I think that double layout was low, it was short, so yeah. I think she probably panicked, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she probably panicked and was like, oh crap, I have to do something. And I'm so happy she didn't get injured because she's one of my favorites, so I was happy she survived.
I think that she's actually becoming a better competitor. Now that we were watching her, the routines that she was hitting had fewer wobbles, and she looked more confident, especially in the second day. I think overall, she wasn't. I am open to her going to Worlds. I am not convinced that she's going to make the Olympic team when it whittles down to 4 people, but I think she is making a good argument for herself to go to the World Championships. But I think that means that Riley doesn't go if Morgan goes. Yeah.
Right now, my Worlds team would have Morgan on it as the second all-arounder. I think her, Suni, and Simone would be the 3 all-arounders in prelims. I think her coach has proved in the past that they're pretty smart about peaking at the right time, because every national, she kind of looks like a mess on one day and then starts to build up, and by Worlds, she's phenomenal. And I just kind of have that trust in her coach, Slava, at this point, and I think she'll do the same for this year and next year.
Does this bother me? Because I'm wondering it bothers me. But Marta did not allow us to ever be a mess. Like that, you were not allowed to be a mess. Like you could do 2 events, but they need to be good events. And then you can look. It does concern me that we're now having these standards. We're like, well, she's allowed to be a mess on night 1. Everyone in the U.S. looked like kind of a mess on night 1. And I feel like there are more mistakes with less consequences. I think some of that is going to weed itself out as the gymnasts just become more competitive going for the Olympics, but I'm not confident in Tom's leadership. He didn't get his own athletes onto the Olympic team, and I'm really concerned with Pan Am's, nationals, how these athletes were managed.
Yeah, that schedule was really hard. I was happy Morgan watered down some routines for classics and Pan Ams. It seemed like the smart thing to do because now she's adding the difficulty and she doesn't seem as exhausted as like Cara and Riley did. He does seem to do like the very Japanese thing, which is like if you score in the top 4 of the all-around, you're the top 4 going to Worlds, and doesn't really make a selection. He kind of lets the gymnast do it for himself, which Marta would never have done.
Don't you think that some of that is that he's afraid of being the bad guy? In terms of USA Gymnastics has had so much bad press, and it seems like he's really into or concerned with how he is perceived as much as he's concerned with the job that he is doing from his social media posts, from his interviews. And I think it's preventing him
pressure.
I think it's preventing him from being effective at the same point. Like I think that they're trying to avoid scandal, but at the same time, they also need a leader. So that it's a tough place to be in. But
yeah, we needed somebody a little bit more transparent than Marta. Like I think everyone can agree Marta did some decisions that were too secretive and too unexplained, like Chelsea not going to Olympic trials in 2012. Like all of that, I think there was problems with Marta. But I think Tom swung so much in the opposite direction. He's so worried about being transparent that you need somebody in the middle, and he's already gone past that.
Yeah, I'm concerned. Just seems like even having Cara do the all-around, and some of the things just don't seem to make sense with what he is doing. But we did see Leanne Wong have some issues on floor, so perhaps she was having issues on floor. I never got why Aaliyah Finnegan was on the Pan Am team. I mean, she's talented, but not that talented. So I think I guess that, have 3 gymnasts from one gym. But so Leanne Wong started the year. She's someone that has been trending as an Olympic potential. I still think that she has Olympic potential. She didn't seem to, so she's got a great vault. The double twisting Yurchenko, though, it's not an Aminar.
Yeah.
Bar's not so good. Beam, very good. Floor was good before this meet, but a huge old mess here. So walk us through, as a coach, the ramifications for her mistake on night 1.
Okay, so she was supposed to do a 3.5 twist, which is an F, but she did a triple full, which is an E. And the big problem with that wasn't that she just lost a 10th, but that she dismounts with a triple full too. So her last pass got 0 credit. Absolutely nothing. So it was like she did a triple full just for fun, like for nothing. And I would assume that she should have a backup plan. I mean, we all saw what happened with Maddie Larson in 2010, and I think coaches got smarter after that, started to give their gymnasts backup plans in case something happened. And I'm surprised that Al didn't tell her, like, oh, if you do a triple full, you need to dismount with a double full, at least get some credit or something. But that didn't happen.
The Gage girls, they don't always have the best dance turns on leaps on floor, and then they don't always seem to pay that much attention to the code. I feel like Al and Armine are really good at the actual fundamentals of flipping and twisting, but when you get to the actual,
gorgeous, yeah.
When you get to the actual like playing the game and playing the code, that is not their strength.
I agree in an extent. I think the Gage gymnasts are so wired into doing routines over and over and over. They seem like the gym that kind of programs their gymnasts to almost be like the Romanian robots we used to see in the 90s. But when you have a gymnast like that, when you have a mistake in the middle of a routine, their brain is still kind of in routine mode and they can't think about what they need to do. They just kind of, I mean, and you see it's a positive and a negative because you saw what happened with Morgan Hurd when she was thinking about what to do. So the argument goes both ways.
Do you follow Al Fong on Instagram?
Yes.
I do too. I judge myself for it, but I do. But I have a question. Is that he's constantly showing like his level 5s, and that's great. We want to see what you're doing with your elites. You could show us what they're stretching. Like he wants to show everything he does with these drills and these blocks, and that he's a little crazy, but genius. But smart people are a little off. But he doesn't seem like he's fully transparent. Then who is this Gabby girl who trains with the elites? We have never been introduced to her fully. I looked up her elite scores, couldn't find her. And then And then what happened to Jeffrey Scott? She was one of his most talented girls, injured last year. Didn't see her at all this year. We have no updates. He doesn't seem to dig into...
I was wondering about her. I didn't know where she was because she had the most beautiful standing Arabian on beam.
Yes.
And I was a little concerned. But there were several girls who've kind of disappeared who I don't know what's going on. And
Jordan Bowers had a back injury, so she's supposed to be coming back. She was posting that. Yeah, Jeffrey Scott is not a big social media person. Al's girls don't seem to post as much on social media, except for Aaliyah Finnegan. But anyway, I'm wondering with Leanne Wong, what do you think she needs? Is it too soon for her to go to Worlds? I think she kind of maybe competed herself off of the world team with her performance at championships. What does she need to make Worlds, and what does she need to make the Olympics?
I think her best chance of making both teams will be to be the second all-arounder. She doesn't really have a standout event that's like phenomenal, so I think her best chance is to work her way up as an all-arounder, and it's going to be the hardest path because you have Simone, so you only have one other all-arounder to be. But I mean, that's my best chance for her, and she has a chance. Like, she can do it, but it's just going to be hard.
How about, okay, so I think for next year, she needs an Aminar on vault. She needs to put herself, she has such a gorgeous double, but it's just a double, honey. So I think she's, and they've said that she has worked it into a pit. So I'm wondering if we're going to see that. Can Al teach a good one? I think these are all good, these are questions we all have. And I'm then wondering, floor. What does she need on, because she's very good on floor, but the 3.5 twist, she's often stumbling and stepping across, you know, just like loading up deductions. So where can she get the most points in her D score on floor?
She needs to take out that 3.5 ASAP. Okay. She has such a good triple full, and I know she dismounts with it, but she needs to start doing it in combination, like whip to triple full, or triple full punch front. That would be what I would think she needs to do.
But a whip triple full punch front, that would be my dream.
Oh, yeah. That's so Ashley Postel. She did that once, I think. And that would be 4/10 a bonus if she did whip triple full punch front. That would be huge for her. Much more than the 3.5 she's doing right now.
So she can move that to the second pass. And then I don't see her being like a double layout girl. Should she maybe do like one of those old Woga Valeri passes where we're doing like the back 2.5 to the front full? Like what are we?
She does the 2.5 to front layout now,
which is honey, you know, and it was not good on night 2. Okay, this is not 2003. Okay, this is
it was very 2003, but
and she doesn't do it with the technique of either of a girl that's going to be doing this into twisting or a girl that was sticking that pass. It was very Carly Patterson where you're gripping your couch. So
yes, I hope they can fix that, because if she can do a triple in combination, do the 2.5 front full, she can just dismount with a double tuck, and she'll still be gaining difficulty.
When can we devalue the double tuck on floor? Like, is this 1988? Like,
yesterday,
what are we doing?
hopefully.
Yeah, like but why is the tumbling becoming less impressive on floor in that sense? Like,
well, I know they devalued it a long time ago because you needed to do a D dismount, and so they were trying to get countries to do the double tuck as a D dismount. But now you don't even need a D dismount; you can do a C and not really take that much of a hit. So hopefully the double tuck will be a C again soon. So my
MG Elite girls, they're always posting about how perfect they are on bars and showing everyone in their beautiful body lines. And then we sometimes show beam, but how come they cannot tumble on floor? Like, what is going on with like Riley's double tuck and their landings on floor and their overall? It's a mess. So what is happening with my girl Maggie and her tumbling coaching? Like, what?
The double saltos seem whipped. There's no like strong set. They kind of just yank back into it. And like Riley's double pike has been a big issue because she whips so much into it. She almost is doing like a hollow double layout because she can't get her legs over. And it's just a very awkward flipping position to be in. But it's something that they really hopefully can work on in the next year for the Olympics, work on the arms up a little bit stronger in the set so they can just get a little bit more height and a little bit more air awareness.
I'm wondering, like, why are they not doing the twisting? It seems like she has a lot of girls that would be good at those combination twisting passes, but they don't like, who do we need to get in the gym? Can we find a girl that could have, like, long, straight hair, too much makeup, where, like, we need another coach to help with the twisting, I think.
With the twisting. I never noticed that, but you're right. I haven't ever seen them do hard twisting passes.
No.
And I guess maybe some of that is when you go to college, they want you to have that strong, like, double flipping pass for college to open with. So I guess she focuses on that. But then once you start going elite, you need to start expanding your options.
And it looks like Maggie loves a girl on the world team. Like, she's like Mary Lee Tracy 2.0. So I am wondering, like, what is happening here? So I know with Olivia Greaves, she's, training the harder passes, but on floor, her body position sometimes looks like she's only tumbled into a pit ever when she absorbs on the actual floor exercise mat. So I'm just wondering, because Olivia is someone, I think, who could play the code well and maybe get a score, but it doesn't look like they have the floor strategy game. Really, she could tell.
And you might have been right when you said they only look like they might tumble onto the floor. Maggie might be trying to save their bodies by having them tumble just into a resi mat instead of the floor. But what happens is once you finally start transitioning to the hard floor, you're not prepared for those landings, and it ends up looking how it's looking.
Okay. Yeah, because Olivia is someone that I think for next year, just looking at her bar routine, I think she has a 5.9 D score, but we've also seen her train in Nabieva, and we've seen her train a double-double dismount. It looks like she's capable of upgrading more, and I'm wondering if she is someone who could maybe get an individual spot, if she could keep pushing the bar skill, pushing her bars, especially if Sunisa Lee is an all-arounder. That could kind of be her ticket. I think it's going to be tense in the MG gym because I think Maggie's going to have to either be pushing both of them or kind of choose one or the other over the next year.
I don't see how Riley and Olivia could both be on the Olympic team. When I was watching Olivia's videos, she seems like someone who will be really great next quad. Yeah. That's kind of how I'm thinking she'll be. I think in 2021, she could go and have a fabulous year like Riley started to have this quad. So that's my hope for her.
Yeah. I think she is someone, though, they clearly like coaching her. They post a lot of it. She seems like she's very coachable. She doesn't seem to have as much stuff going on as Riley, and I do wonder.
Yes.
Also, Riley's 2-foot layout on beam is just not doing it for me. It's just like not floaty. There's like no. This is not like a Moke Milan Chinese layout to 2 feet. It's kind of low and whippy, and I'm not living for it. So
no, I agree.
And Morgan Hurd, I wanted to ask you. So for her next year, when we look at so this year she's going to make it, if she makes it, it's for consistency in her experience, but she's going to need more upgrades for the Olympic season. She has vault issues, not the best. Bars, she's had elbow issues, but where do you see her being able to, because she's kind of able to do the combinations with the toe-ons and things like that, where do you see the upgrades for her coming on bars?
On bars, I think the smartest thing she needs to do is get a Shaposh half variation, because she does a kip cast, half pirouette, like toe shoot, and that's so like 2004. Nobody needs to do those anymore. So she needs to work on that on the second part of the routine. Everything else is so good because she has the best basics on bars. Her handstands are perfect. Her form is perfect. So if she can just get that Shaposh half, I think she'd be set.
Okay. So Jade Carey, are we taking her to Worlds? Have we forgiven her for her father going straight to the FIG to get her the individual spot? I think the U.S. should take her to Worlds because they need to sew up this gold medal, and I don't trust all these other girls are too emotional and up and down, and we need someone that's going to. Jade looks like she has no emotion, no artistry, but she's reliable. So I think we take her for vault and floor.
I 100% agree. I think her dad was kind of smart.
I think he was.
But I think he backed himself into the corner because I don't see them ever taking her for the 4-person team.
Because the U.S. would lose the individual spot, which is a stupid rule.
Yes. Yeah. It's a stupid rule, but I think she'll be pretty much guaranteed to go to Tokyo next year, but as an individual. This year, since it wouldn't affect the qualification, I think she should go to Worlds. She has the Amanar and the Chong vault now, So I think she can go try to get a vault medal, maybe get a floor medal if the judges want to ignore her artistry. And
I don't see her medaling individually. Maybe on vault, but I don't think it matters. I think you get to the Olympics, you win a bronze on vault. I don't think it's going to like propel your gym and everything into like.
I agree.
I think at the family reunion they'll still be happy about the vault bronze, but I think in the grand scheme of things, this is not. But let's say Simone has the flu and can't compete at the Olympics, right? I don't wish this on anyone. Say that the U.S. has to compete a team with like Morgan, Hurd, Riley, whoever else, right? Like Sunisa Lee and so on. Those girls seem like they have the ability to mess up. If the U.S. were to lose the team gold because Jade Carey is an individual, she will be known as like the hated forever.
That'd be gooped. Everyone would be gooped if that happened.
Yes, I don't gooped. What is this like with Paltrow? Like what are we saying here?
Gooped. It's Monique Hurd. It's very RuPaul's Drag Race. And
okay. I do not watch. Okay, yes, all right. We'll be gooped. That's bad on me. So the comments have just started. Otherwise, so how about Skinner? I think it's too soon for her for this year. But what about next year? What are you thinking? Like,
I think it's going to be really hard for her because of Jade Carey. Jade Carey kind of eliminates the need for McCayla Skinner. I really am excited to see her push because she always has seemed like someone who wants to do elite more than like college or level 10. And so I'm excited to see what will happen once she spends a year really like training elite. But I almost wish she would train elite with Utah coaches.
I wish that she would go to Simone's gym, right?
Yeah, I wish everyone can go to Simone's gym.
Or anyway, I just think that her coaches have clearly never corrected a lot of stuff that is bad with her. So I think if they put her with a really talented coach, she would have a better shot. And I don't think that Jade and Skinner... I think that Skinner could... I think her best bet of making the Olympics is to make herself, like... impossible to leave home on vault and floor. Even if she's not as good as Jade, she needs to be better than the other girls. Better than anyone who could swing bar routine, right? Like, anyone that could ever be usable in bars or beams. She needs to make herself so good on the vault and floor events. And I don't think that she's cleaned up her vault enough to be able to do that. So... No.
She's almost the one who's going to need the triple twisting Yurchenko more than anyone. If she can... I would be scared for my life.
She would go for it. She would do it. You know?
But if she did it successfully, I mean, more power to her. I'd be excited to see it.
She'll do the Biles off of one arm, okay? On vault. But I do think that she could go to... I think if she works it and made herself... Because one thing is that she usually hits, and that is really indispensable. But invaluable. It is. But the other junior I've been watching, Kayla DiCello, I think Kelly is so smart with how she manages her athletes that I never count her out. But it doesn't look to me right now that she has maybe the routines to make it, but I would just never count out Kelly Hill.
I have Kayla on my Olympic team at this moment. I do.
For which events?
I think vault and floor.
You think she'll get the Avanar?
I think she could. I think Kelly is smart, and has a proven history of being good with her gymnasts and getting her gymnasts to be strong at the right time. I mean, Corey Lothrop was one of hers, right?
Yeah.
And she was an alternate for the Olympics.
Wasn't talented compared to the other girls.
No, and nobody was expecting that. I think Kelly has a good history with that. I think going to the Olympics next year, you're going to need an all-arounder that's strong on vault and floor, that you can trust to hit the other two events. And I think Kayla can be that girl. So in my opinion right now, I think she will be a good contender for Tokyo.
And I do think that it's smart that she went to the Junior World Championships that they had. I think it's interesting that he didn't pick everyone that was going to be age eligible for the Olympics next year because it's a great chance to give them all experience. They didn't really meet anyway. So I'm wondering like what his strategy is, if there is one, other than just going by the results, because Olivia is someone that I probably would have tried to give experience to kind of prepare her for next year, to kind of see who's going to be good when you need them.
I probably would have sent Kayla, Olivia, and Connor.
Yes.
But then we got Kayla, Sky Blakely, and the Texas Dreams gymnast.
Cindy
So
Barnes. Yeah.
yes. So it was a very interesting selection, but he went straight by the results, and I guess that's fair. So
He's playing it. He's playing the social media game. He wants no one mad at him. But
yes,
I think
exactly.
he does not want any articles about himself. But I do think that at a certain point he is hired to do a job and to make the hard decisions. And I think that he is going to have to figure out a way to intelligently explain why he made certain decisions. Because Marta always could have explained the decisions she made before. I think she just didn't care to. She just didn't feel like the need to. So
no. It'll be interesting. Next year will be hard for him to choose a team, I think. So it'll be interesting how he handles it.
Because he has to be strategic, and he hasn't shown that ability yet.
I agree.
I actually think that they should put Chelsea on the selection committee. The way I hear her describe things and talk about gymnastics in her interviews, like she seems to be really analytical, even though she is, some people didn't think that she was the most beautiful gymnast, but she seems to have a good head and level head.
She's so smart, yeah.
Yes.
And she seems to be one of the smartest, and she enjoys everything about gymnastics a lot. I think most out of all the Brevet judges, because I saw her post on Twitter I can't wait to see these bar routines, and was just generally excited to watch gymnastics. And I think you need someone like that who's
she doesn't
really
seem damaged
excited
by her experience at all.
No.
She doesn't, she doesn't seem like she's into the fame. I think she would be really smart to put on that selection team to kind of be
That's a good idea.
I think that we can make a strategic move here. I think Chelsea needs to be in those decisions. I agree. People. So, yeah. So who is on your world team now? You've alluded to it, and your Olympic team. Who are you tracking?
So for worlds, for sure, need to be Simone, Suni, Morgan, and Jade. Those four for sure. I think the last spot will be probably Riley or Cara, somebody who's strong on bars and beam.
Alternate Leanne Wong, are you thinking then in that situation? Or are you taking both Riley and Cara?
I think alternate would be Grace McCallum.
We didn't even talk about Grace here because she's just not standing out, although she is supposed to have an Aminar at the selection camp that could train everything. But based on seeing her Aminar in videos, it looks like she could blow a knee on it at any moment. It does not look high and powerful. And
hopefully it's fixed. The problem with Grace is she's never the best behind Simone. At American Cup, she was behind Leanne. At Classics, she was behind Riley. At this competition, she was behind Suni. So she's never... Yeah, I think she's a good alternate, and I would have her almost as an Olympic alternate too, just because she seems strong and level-headed, but she doesn't stand out the most.
She'll be great in college. Yeah.
Oh, fabulous in college, yeah.
I just don't... Yeah, she's interesting, though. I wouldn't count her out for the Olympic year because she is so dependable. And as we talk about these girls, Riley's inconsistent. You don't know about Morgan, who's going to be injured. She's someone that I would keep in the mix. I would at least have her on the world squad to be training and having that experience until the last moment.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that that's going to hurt Riley's shot even more. For Riley.
It's hard. There's big group of 4 or 5 gymnasts that could all make those last 2 spots, last spot. But yeah, I have those 4, Simone, Suni, Morgan, Jade, on the team for sure.
Yeah, but I think the Olympics is anyone's game. I really think that whoever is going to Italy, and I think the winter is going to be so important to really set themselves up. So I think, and that's where I think Kelly Hill, she has a gymnast who just competed. Now her season is over. She can take a couple weeks for downtime, and then it's go time for the Olympics. She's very talented. She has the experience now. I think that Kelly might have Kayla ready to go for February and be fabulous.
Prepared.
Yeah.
I hope so. Kayla was stronger than Grace on floor and vault. She would have been the third all-arounder. She would have been behind Simone and Suni, but ahead of the rest of the pack if she was a senior, because I looked at the scores. And so I think she's well prepared.
Well, don't count out Olivia. I think Vicky will be working with her while Maggie is off with Riley, and I think Olivia is climbing steadily.
It'll be
So,
exciting to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see if she has the Navieva and everything.
Yes, I'm going to see. All right, so we want to know who's on your world team for everyone watching. Leave those in the comments below, and we'll be back to talk about the selection camp, which is going to be happening September 21st to the 26th. So we'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.